Good morning, children. Welcome back to our online classes by Little Scholars Public School. This is Shilpa Patil. Today we are going to start our seventh chapter of history, India during the Maurya period. In that, we are going to learn about the Greek Emperor Alexander's invasion and the Maurya Empire. First of all, do you know, children? In the 6th century BCE, a king named Cyrus had established a vast empire in Iran. This empire extended from northwest India to Rome and to Egypt in Africa. Around 518 BCE, an Iranian emperor named Darius had conquered the religion to the northwest of India up to Punjab. Darius had recruited some soldiers from this area into his army. Means he gave a job to the local people to his army, into his army. We learn about this from the writings of Greek historians. This is mentioned in the Greek history, that is why we come to know. Political relations between India and Iran were established during the reign of Emperor Darius. When the Emperor Darius was a king, an emperor, at that time the relationship between India and Iran were established. This led to greater exchanges in the fields of trade and art. That way, the trading system and the art also exchanged from the Iran and India. Emperor Darius had introduced a uniform currency called Darik. Here you can see Darik's picture is given here. Darik was the name of his currency, and from his time period he started one currency in his empire. Otherwise, before that, anything people gave as an exchange, like we have seen in the Vedic period that cows was the main uh, priced highly because it was a means of exchange. But from Darius time period, Emperor Darius started uniform currency called Darik in all parts of his empire. This made trading easier. The capital of Persepolis was built during his reign. He is the king Cyrus, as we have seen, Emperor Darius. This is the Persepolis in 518 BCE. King Darius utilized influences and materials from all over his empire, which included Babylon, Egypt, Mesopotamian, and Greece. Now we are going to see about the Greek Emperor Alexander's invasion. Alexander's invasion of India. The Greek Emperor Alexander the Emperor invaded India's northwestern frontier in 326 BCE, crossing the Indus River. He reached Takshashila. On the way, he met with forceful opposition from the local Indian kings. When he came to India by crossing the river Sindhu, the local kings, whoever were there in India at that time, they opposed him forcefully, but he defeated them all and successfully reached the Punjab. However, in this invasion, his army had to suffer severe hardships. His army, the soldiers, were eager to go back to home because from much time period they were with him only. But he was not agree, Alexander was not agree to let them go back home. They rebelled against Alexander and he was forced to turn back. Because of the soldiers, their hardships, their hard work, Alexander forced to turn back home. He therefore appointed Greek officers to administer the conquered territories. Greek officers he administered there. He appointed there, and they were called as satraps. The soldiers who were appointed by the Alexander, who were Greek officers, were called as satraps. He started his return journey but died on the way back in 323 BCE at Babylon. Today, Babylon is in Iraq. Alexander's campaign led to an increase in trade between India and the Western world. The historians who accompanied Alexander introduced India to the Western world through their writings. We can come to know these all things from the Greek literature. The Greek sculpture influenced Indian art, giving rise to the Gandhara school of art. These are the coins uniformly made by the Alexander also. These are the Alexander's silver coin and golden coins also were there. You can see the name of the Alexander also is there on this coin. Alexander's invasion. The Greek sculpture influenced Indian art, giving rise to Gandhara school of art. This is a special kind of art. This form is known as Gandhara school of art. The Greek kings minted characteristic coins, as we have seen on one side. The coins had a picture of a king who had minted, and the coin, the other side, a picture of Greek god. Greek god's picture also we can see on the coin. The name of the king also was written. These are the facial features of the status of the Greek style and Gandhara style. Here we can see the Indian coin and Greek coins. Later on, when the Alexander started minting these types of coins, later Indian kings also started minting the similar coins. But there is a little bit difference between Indian coins and Greek coins, as the name of the king also is written on the back of the coin, and the picture of the king who minted these coins. The Maurya Empire we are going to start now. Children, I think all of you know about the Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya was the founder of Maurya Empire. People were tired of tyrannical rule of Nanda king of Magadha, Dhananand. Dhananand was the Nanda king, and people were very fed up of his tyrannical rule. Tyrannical means very strict and hard rules. Chandragupta Maurya brought to an end and established his own rule in Magadha around 325 BCE. Chandragupta Maurya, he won Avanti and Saurashtra and began to extend the boundaries of his empire. In the beginning, he won Avanti and Saurashtra. After Alexander's death, Chandragupta Maurya, with the help of Chanakya, Acharya Chanakya, or he was also known as Kautilya, with his help, he founded this Maurya Empire. After Alexander's death, a struggle for power began among the satraps. Satraps, as I told you, children, the administrators who appointed by the Alexander, the Greek officers, to administrate the conquered territories. These satraps, after the death of Alexander, they started fighting between themselves only. But in that, the Seleucus Nicator was Alexander's general. He became the king of Babylon after Alexander's death. As I told you, Babylon is in Iraq now, and Alexander died at Babylon. Babylon's king became the Seleucus Nicator, who was the Alexander's general. He invaded the northwest frontier region of India and Punjab. Chandragupta Maurya successfully resisted his aggression. Chandragupta Maurya defeated two Seleucus Nicator. The defeat of Seleucus Nicator led to the inclusion of the northwest region of Kabul, Kandahar and Herat in Maurya Empire. Here you can see the Chandragupta's regions won by Chandragupta. Do you know, children, Vishakha Datta, the Sanskrit playwright, wrote a play called Mudra Rakshasa. It relates how Chandragupta Maurya defeated Dhananand and established an independent power. The plot gives special importance to the contribution of Arya Chanakya, also known as Kautilya. Megasthenes, Seleucus Nicetas' ambassador, stayed back at Chandragupta Maurya's court. Seleucus Nicator was the ambassador of the Emperor Alexander, and as he became king of Babylon, in that Megasthenes named one of the ambassador was there. After defeat of Seleucus Nicator, Megasthenes stayed back at Chandragupta's court. His book Indica is an important source of the study of India during the Maurya period. He is the Megasthenes. Megasthenes is known as father of the Indian history also. There is an inscription stating that Emperor Chandragupta Maurya had built a dam called Sudarshan. The Sudarshan Dam is near Junagadh in Gujarat state. According to the Jain tradition, it is believed that Chandragupta Maurya had accepted the Jain religion. Vardhaman Mahavir, you can see here, Chandragupta Maurya accepted Jain tradition. Towards the end of his life, he abdicated the throne and spent his remaining years at Shravanbelgola in Karnataka. This is the Shravanbelgola's picture. It is in Karnataka now also. That was where he breathed his last. There only he died. Chandragupta Maurya was the great person. I hope children, all of you understand this. Thank you for watching the video.